All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. So this is the Pixelbook Go, and this is 30 days with the Pixelbook Go. This device has a few different options here that you could actually choose from. You've got the Core M3 model. You have the Intel Core i5 model, which is this model here with 128 gigs of storage. And then you have another Core i5 with 16 gigs of RAM in it with the same memory option. And then you have the big dog of them all. You have $13.99 for an i7, 16 gig and 256 gigs of storage. So these are some things, options that you have here for the laptop if you choose to go this route. It is a very nice laptop. It is a touch screen, and that's something that I actually forget about from time to time after using the laptop for, it's actually been a little bit more than 30 days, but this laptop has impressed me enough to where I use my Slate. You know, I have the Pixel Slate as well, and I don't use that as much because this one is actually not a two-in-one, it's a laptop. So the Slate is a two-in-one, and the Slate does have its purposes, and it has a place in my life always throughout the day. But if I'm going to take a laptop, it is now and I have 4 or 5 laptops, but Chromebooks have definitely stepped their game up. And the Pixelbook Go kind of fixes a lot of things that I actually dislike about some other laptops. Now, my main companion laptop for traveling was my Lenovo 2-in-1 laptop, touchscreen, stereo speakers, but it's running Windows. And Windows has its own set of problems still in 2019. They probably will never go away, and that's unfortunate. But Chromebooks solve for that. This laptop and my Pixel Slate are pretty much always up to date. There's always a software update that comes in every now and then to keep this thing running smooth. So that is something that I wanted to tackle first. The performance of the laptop is actually really good. I've had nothing but a great experience with this particular laptop, man. And as it says there, lightweight design is actually really good. But performance on this thing has been fantastic. You can hook up an external monitor, external microphones. You can do everything that you want to do on a Windows laptop or any other type of computer with this device right here, because it does have 2 Type-C ports. There's one on that side, and then there's one on this side as well. And then there's also that headphone jack there too for monitoring if you want to do so, or listen to music while you're on your Pixelbook Go. Now, I never got a chance to experience the original Pixelbook, mainly because the price was really high. I mean, it was just a Chromebook at the time, and I guess people didn't really understand Chromebooks and what their value could be when they released that laptop. But it was a little on the pricey side. But the things I heard about it is that the hardware is top notch. And, you know, I never owned one, but it did look like it was a premium piece of tech. And with this laptop, they do give a different design, but it's a plus to me. It's a bonus. I would rather have this design and the way this is built over a laptop that can probably easily break, and that is the Pixelbook, the original Pixelbook. This employs a plastic design. It's definitely a lot more grippy. It's just a different design, and I think that's something that is important to a person, because the chances of you dropping your laptop or sliding out of your lap, it's possible, depending on what you're doing. So the hardware on here definitely matches the price this time around. Now, I spoke about performance and the quality of the device, but the Chromebooks are not just Chrome browsers anymore. That was my way of thinking about Chromebooks when I first started to get one. But when I got my first Chromebook, was a Samsung Chromebook, and it's fantastic. Fantastic, no problems with it, runs like a champ. But you get into these more powerful ones right here, and you actually can get a full-fledged laptop experience, even though this is running Chrome OS. So Chrome OS has its downsides like everything else. With that being said, the app selection here, it runs obviously Android apps. But I've spoken of this before. Sometimes it can be a little confusing whether you're running an app or a web browser. So this right here is letting you know that it's not actually the app. It's going to go to the web if I push that right there. So, and this is the app. That is something that they need to eliminate. Either we're going to have Chrome OS as its own, or we're going to have apps. So I personally think that it should run apps, but some things should just be default and should not be allowed to have an application form, i.e. that Drive and YouTube. I don't want to see 2 of everything. And oh yes, I can remove them. I can definitely remove them. But in some instances, the apps actually run really fast. And so, you know, and the apps look a little different. It's a shame, but I need them to sort that out. That is something I want them to quickly sort out, because it has gotten a little bit annoying just to have two of the same. But you know, you can remove the apps. You can. That's an option. You don't have to. But some apps are essential, like the music application. I think you would want to keep those on there, in Lightroom. Just a bunch of different things that are on the device that you probably should use as an app. Because laptops do need apps in some situations, and that's nothing wrong with that. But ultimately, Chrome OS can be run strictly from the Chrome browser, and I would be totally happy with that. So, you know, you have the ability, let me see, let me minimize that. It's updating all the apps, because the apps are available to update. But you have the ability to have this window right here as a part of Chrome OS. And I really enjoy this because you can get to your settings, you can power off, you can lock. You actually can, I unlock this with my Pixel 4 XL. I just sit it next to it, hit enter, and it automatically unlocks. You can actually do that with other Android devices. You just need to set it up. I actually can text message from, I won't open my text messages, but I text from Chrome OS. I think that's really nice, being able to just not leave the device. I really like it. And again, that's that mixed bag about having apps and the same thing in the web browser, because these are apps right here. And, you know, on the web, Instagram is a little basically not usable in my experience, but the application, I can take a photo with the camera on the front, because it does record in 1080p at 60 frames per second. But I can take a video or a photo and post that, and I'll be totally happy doing it right from the Instagram app, even though it's not technically the best. This is how it looks. It's kind of strange, but it is what it is. That's what it is. But I like having this, the way Chrome OS is set up, because it gives you something to let you know this is of its own. Yeah, that I like that. So but there's more to it than that, obviously. If you go into the settings, there are tons of settings within Chrome OS. You can run Linux. It's obviously, there's a beta for Linux on every Chromebook. Pretty much it has a beta for Linux, to my understanding. So, you know, it's all there. You've got the Google Assistant down here on the keyboard. There's just a nice layout for Chrome OS. I just want a little bit more. Now, speaking of the keyboard, this has got to be one of the world's best keyboards for typing. It is, in fact, very nice, very clicky, lots of traveling feedback, but not too much. It's just a fantastic feeling, full-size keyboard. Now, the commands on Chrome OS are a little different, so you might want to check into, like when you do something, there's always an option to tell you what command you can do to save yourself time. And that's just like with on any laptop, Windows and Mac, there's always commands. So you want to search how to use the commands on, that's if you're a person who likes to do shortcuts and you don't like to click and go search for things. You just want to do Control Shift, B, or Control Shift 3, that type of command. So, but other than that, this Chromebook is fantastic for the keyboard. Now, one thing I would have liked to have seen, it is backlit, by the way, and one thing I would have liked to have seen was a bigger trackpad, even if we could just stretch it out just a hair more, because I'm actually used to the trackpads on the MacBook, and then also my regular trackpad is a huge trackpad, the standalone that I use for my Mac Mini sometimes when editing. But I do use a Logitech keyboard as well for that. So, but I would have liked to have seen just a little bit bigger trackpad on here, other than, just this standard size trackpad it appears to have. And also I would like for Google to incorporate some kind of fingerprint or facial recognition to unlock the laptop once I get into the, I want to get into it, because currently right now you can unlock by sitting your phone next to it and hitting the enter key. It will light up green, and you'll know that you're actually in instead of signing in physically. But having some kind of integration with fingerprint and facial recognition would actually be fantastic, I would say. I really think that's got to come at some point or another, because I think Android is at that point where it's ready for that on its Chromebooks. Chromebooks can be a plus to a lot of people. Using this daily, a Chromebook is a way for a person to get a computer, because the education system is now fully loaded with Chromebooks. All the schools, pretty much high schools, junior highs, middle schools, they have Chromebooks as their main device, and they give them to the students here where I live at. And if the student passes or graduates, they get to actually keep it, I believe. And that's a plus because they're getting them ready for school. So having the Chromebooks in the education system is important to me too. But for a daily computer, this is actually a fantastic computer. It's just nice, small, light, compact. I like the one lift that it has when you're opening it. You really don't have to do any pressure or anything. It just kind of, well, it's sliding on my table, but it just kind of opens up and boom, you're there. But the screen is beautiful. The speaker setup on here, I've tested it before, is absolutely fantastic. I actually keep it in the sleeve here by Bel-Ray when I'm not using it. I like the kind of grippiness on the bottom here. There's just two big feet that run across right here, and it really stands still. Now, just in that sitting right here, you know, we kind of wax the table and clean it up, so it's kind of slippery, but, or the furniture polish, it makes it a little slippery. But on a regular surface, this is gonna grip very well. On other surfaces, I don't have it move like that on my desk when it's sliding around. It doesn't slide around like that, it just opens up. But this is very nice. This is a great thing that Google has done with the Pixelbook Go, and I just think there's a whole bunch more to this than what I'm explaining and having my experience in this video. There are tons of people that actually edit on their Chromebooks. I'm not there yet. I could definitely edit on an Android device, but yeah, I definitely am not there yet when it comes to editing on a Chromebook, but I will be. That's the thing, I will be. Loading files onto the Chromebook are fantastic. Let me log back in here because I left my Pixel upstairs, but loading files onto the Chromebook is actually really, really solid. Let's see here, come on. It's really solid. You don't have to do much. I leave the file manager right here. You can load all the things here that you want to load. Like if I plug in a thumb drive or something like that, it'll pop up here and I can save it to my downloads folder, and then also have access to the Google Drive right here on the left. And it's just a easy operating system to use when you're using a Chromebook. People who own Chromebooks probably love them. They probably really enjoy their Chromebooks because they're such a good experience. Now, the one thing I can say about the Pixelbook Go is that it'll solve tons of issues that a person might have if they have a Pixel Slate. Because remember, a Slate is a 2-in-1. Now, not just the Slate line. If you're using a 2-in-1 Chromebook, this laptop is probably a good switch for you if you're tired of the 2-in-1. Again, the speaker system is fantastic. The camera is great. Last but not least, the battery is ridiculous, man. This thing lasts for days. I mean, I use it every day for at least 2 to 3 hours a day, possibly, and it still lasts all week. It is fantastic battery, and they're guaranteeing you about 12 hours of screen on time, or basically 12 hours of usage, and you will get it. If a person can't get 12 hours out of this laptop, I don't know what's going on. Because I use this for 2 to 3 times, 2 to 3 hours possibly in a day, and it just seems like it lasts all week. If you do the math, technically it is lasting all week. So I rarely charge it during the week for what I'm doing on it, which is basically I'm doing everything on this laptop except for editing, basically. I still do YouTube uploads on here. Like if I have a file that I want to load onto the device, I'll just load it to here. If I don't want to let my phone sit or, something of that nature. I can do everything on here except the only thing I'm not doing on here yet is editing. And I'm happy about that because this is solving tons of issues for me when it comes to having a light, portable, flexible laptop that's going to get the job done, powerful. Really, really enjoy it, man. So there it is, like a boss, as my cup says. This is the Pixelbook Go. This is 30 days later, and it is fantastic. It's your man, Jay. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.